I go around to businesses, I do neighborhoods, I just love on people and walk beside them in difficult times. And a lot of times when someone passes away in the business or whatever, they didn't have a pastor, then they ask me to do it.
Does this do any good at all?
Oh, yes. The reality is pastors have busy lives, and when crises happen, we have an agenda that we have to figure out how to set aside to put that crisis into. Now, we should do that, and we do as much as we can. The challenge is, in a large church, just taking care of our own flock will eat up most of that capacity. She's out doing that for our neighbors by design. God put this vision in her heart. She shared it with our senior pastor. They prayed about it. They found a way to do a pilot. That went well, and she just graduated into it. And now she's our prayer missionary to our zip code, the businesses, because it's an unreached group. Many of them even know the Lord and want to know the Lord, but they just, life is busy when you're self-employed. You got to run a business and keep 5 people employed or 6 or a dozen, and where do I find time for faith? They just never get around to it until she shows up.
Why do you want to do this? I've never heard anybody doing this.
Well, there's so many hearts that need to be touched. And in going out there, in being in the business world, a lot of them at first don't even want to talk to me.
Do you understand the business world?
I understand because I came from the business world. I was in it for years, yes, in outside sales. And so this is perfect for me because I'm in sales, but I don't have anything to sell them. Mine's free.
Yeah, she's giving away grace and love.
Yeah.
Is this free for her?
No, it's very costly. She's a missionary and does what missionaries do. Missionaries have to raise support. They have to connect to a system like ours. We're her wraparound support. But she had a vision, and our pastor had the wisdom to listen to it, and she's going out into the community as a missionary. Now, we have a label for it. We call it community chaplain, and that's all good. But at the core of this, she's a sent one. And she felt sent. We just validated it and then built the architecture financially and accountability so she could do it. And she's doing what God called her to do. We figured it out. The Lord had the idea, told her, and we had to just walk with her till we figured it out and say, okay, Lord, let's make this happen. So we had a part to play, but the Lord put it in her heart. So that's why she gets up and do this every morning. I didn't go recruit her and say, Jenny, got this job for you. The Lord gave her the job, so I don't have to motivate her.
Okay, tell them, this is your idea, in a sense, and it cost you something, but it's a wonderful payoff, I assume.
Well, the thing of it was, truly, Chuck had the vision. Then God gave me to him to do the vision. I knew I was called. I had quit my job.
Did you know he had the vision first?
No. We had the same vision. We had the same vision. I had been in the business world for years and years in outside sales. And so, therefore, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And
Chuck comes from the business world, not the typical pastoral route, and always has a heart for business people because he counsels them all the time. He really cares about what our business people face every Monday.
And so, therefore, it was the perfect fit. Many times when I was in the business world, it was a divine appointment and not a sales call because I was in outside sales. And so it's an easy thing for me to walk into a business and say, hey, I'm Jenny, I'm from the church down the street, and what we want you to know is that we'll pray for you. But if you have someone who's going through a difficult time, that's what I do.
Are there people going through difficult times?
Many.
Everywhere.
And one of the neat things too, with all the unemployment and laying off of people, I was able to walk with a lot of these people through that, help them get connected to career connections, all the things. My networking has paid off. So I'm able to help them to get to where they need to be, what they need to be doing, and
if there's a nerve cell in the brain of Crossroads Fellowship that connects 10,000 people, she's probably at the center of that nerve cell.
Okay, but you're talking about the networking paying off for you, but that includes, what does it include? Something here at Crossroads.
It just puts the feet to it. It really does. It's like...
Tell them what that means, because this is a very important part, if I'm getting this right.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how you want me to...
Let's get Doug starting. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jenny is uniquely qualified from both her walk with Christ and her business skills. Our pastor said, man, what are we going to do for the city, for people who are doing business every day? She comes out of that. They shared that idea before we had gone public with the volunteer community. We have volunteers doing what she's doing. She's doing it full-time, felt called to do it full-time.
Are you teaching them how to do it? Is that what's...
Yeah, there's some training that we do along the way.
Yes.
But the key is that she has a heart for evangelism. We're praying for the success of these businesses. Listen, it's hard being self-employed. We're targeting the small business. There's about 600 of them around us. 600 within a bicycle ride of here. So we went out, did a windshield tour, and we stopped at 250, and we didn't even get to the mall. It's about a mile from here.
Oh, my goodness.
We're surrounded by hundreds of small businesses who desperately want to succeed and can't believe that there's a church that would pray for their success.
And you can put a dent in this thing, maybe even more than a dent, and with volunteers, maybe lots of dents.
Well, the neat thing is what I have found is that the business owners, they say that because, and I've been doing this for 8 years now, and they say that their business has been the biggest change, and that is like, it has made the biggest difference, and they all are like, love it. And it's interesting because a lot of the people in the beginning that did not want to meet with me, now they cannot wait for me to come. And, you know, and it's not me that they're waiting on. It's that love that I have for them. It's that compassion, and it's that joy that I bring. And so that's
And listen, it's not a surprise. It won't surprise you that some of these people came back to Christ who were not walking with him. They came to Crossroads because they weren't going anywhere else. And he said, you mean there's a pastor there that really cares about my business? I got to go hear this guy. And she was the ambassador for Christ and Crossroads to help make that happen.
Yes.
Well, why don't you give us like 10 kinds of needs that you address?
Okay. There are 10 kinds of needs. One is their physical need. Sometimes it's hospital visits. Sometimes it is for me visiting their parent in a nursing home or a facility like that.
Because it's a great distraction to them, apparently.
Yes, and they can't handle it. They don't know. They don't have, you know, the technique or the things to do, and God has given me that kind of heart. Okay. And then there's financial. We have, you know, a lot of times I'll get them hooked up and help them to make a budget to do things, you know, financially to help them to get their lives in order. And then there's just their everyday walk. Sometimes they're just struggling with that, and I just give them encouragement. And, you know, I have different things. I have my little notebook that I have.
She's got a toolbox of a lot of resources that we get free, and she's able to give them out.
And I pass them. Yeah. So, in other words, there's always a little thing that I have of each need, and I'll say, you know, this will help you if someone is in depression. You know, I say, read these. There's 20 cans, not cannots, and that will encourage you each day. And but the biggest thing is prayer. You know, I can pray with them and walk with them beside the difficult times.
So I'll bet you agree with me when I say it doesn't do a whole lot of good to just wish when you're praying. You're up against the kinds of needs where you had better have a true attitude of expectation.
Yes. You know, God has given me the gift of prayer. I have to say that is from Him, because it's when I pray, it's Him. When I speak, it's me. And but it's just a lot of times when I pray and I finish and people say, how did you know that? And I said, I don't know anything. It's just the fact that He has given me. It's just Him flowing through me as I pray, and just and knowing what their heart needs to hear.
So are you getting tired of this? You're looking forward to retiring from outreach?
Actually, no. It's amazing because, you know, I could retire now, and I could in November I was thinking maybe I'll cut back. But the thing about it is that I try to cut back because it is a 24/7. It is not an 8 to 5.
Cutting back is one thing.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? But the involvement.
Yes. The involvement, that's why on occasions I get away. I have to leave town because otherwise I don't stop.
Jesus took rest, didn't He?
Yes, He did. He did. He went away yes. And so
this is an important thing when you think about being a transformational leader, and that is especially in a ministry that Jenny does that's heavy lifting, you know, counselors and so forth. Everyone in a people-helping business have to learn how to avoid compassion fatigue, keep their tank empty.
Compassion fatigue?
How to avoid it, If it piles on, how to set good boundaries and how to keep your own tank full. And this is why Jenny needs us, because I'm not as emotionally connected to all that need. I'm connected to her emotional needs, and I'm trying to say, you need to leave, go to the beach for 2 days. Let me be on call for you, or let's have someone else stand in the gap, or let those people wait. I mean, that's a hard thing for us to say, but there's always going to be more need. Jesus walked past people in need to go do other stuff he felt the Father was telling him to do. So we try to follow what the Father says, and we care about needs, but we're not driven by needs. We're trying to be driven by the obedience of where the Lord's telling us to go and what to do.
I have to say, too, that one of the greatest things I have are those prayer warriors that are praying for me every day. And that is those people who are supporting me, whether in financially or prayer. It is just phenomenal. And I feel it. I mean, I know that every day I'm led by the Spirit. A lot of times I'll have my plan and I'll head out. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling myself, I'm going over here, and that's exactly where I was supposed to be. So what a joy to be able to see how God leads and how he directs.
So once again, a great transformational story, and this is a perfect kind of story that shows how if you really want to go beyond scratching the surface and getting to the root of problems, you have to be flexible and you have to know how to take care of yourself.
I think the takeaway for me as a pastor is don't assume that all that God wants us to do in a particular city or mission field is ours to figure out. He can speak to our people. If we'll have ears to hear and be open to the Spirit of God going, well, we've never done that before, but why can't we? And so we have the freedom as an interdenominational church to say, well, what if we did that? And we literally spent 6-8 months trying, well, just put that way, calling around, and we found a way. So it's all, legally right, and we've done all the precautions and made it just like a mission agency. And so we just never thought about it till God prompted her and our pastor, and we sit down. And so as pastors, we need to be open to how God wants us to impact our city and not feel the onus to figure it all out, but be open to the Spirit of God speaking to us, often through our uniquely qualified people.